Welcome to the documentary In the Studio from the BBC World Service. I am Frenny Jowi, and today we're in the company of the Kenyan artist Mika Obanda. His mosaics portray the issues facing many in Kenya, but they also have a surprising twist. They're not created using traditional tiles, but from items that many of us throw away. Eggshells.
Eggshells can do art, not only beautiful art, but deep and very meaningful art.
For the past 6 years, he's been using these delicate shells, painstakingly placing the tiny pieces to create his vibrant, personal and activist artworks.
When I'm using eggshells, I'm exploring color. Mosaic, I feel it's very personal to me. It made me find peace in the moment that I couldn't find peace.
Mika lives and works in Mukuru, a slum area in the south of Nairobi. Now, about 60% of the capital's population live in slums, and Mika's artworks often depict the experiences faced by the 700,000 people who call Mukuru home. So Mukuru, it's crowded. When we were driving along, we saw a lot of waste dumped on the road. It can be a difficult place to thrive in. Does that inform a big part of who you are and what inspires your artwork?
Mukuru inspires my work a lot. Like 90% of what I do is like inspired from here. When I speak about what I've gone through, all this is affecting me. That's what comes out in my work.
So I'm just taking a walk to Mika's studio in Mukuru. There are so many shops and children coming back from school after lunch break, open air markets, and a lot is just going on. Hello, Mika.
Hello, Frenny. How have you been?
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you here, and I would like to show you the studio.
All right, let's go then. So all of your neighbors here, these are like their family houses, and your studio is the only house in this area that's like an office or a workplace?
Yeah. These are like the residential houses.
Okay.
So this is my studio. This is where I create my work. It's a very hot space.
Yes, I'm sweating right now.
Yes.
This entire room is made of iron sheet. And because this room doesn't have a window, Mika's been very creative and created sort of a window on the ceiling made from
Transparent sheets, I think.
So it's bringing a lot of sunlight in. It's not such a big space, but there's a lot going on. On my left-hand side are sketches and the bucket of eggshells.
Yeah, the bucket of eggshells. This is like where I collect them and put them after they've dried. I put them here.
I can see some of the eggshells which you've already prepared are painted pink, purple, yellow, red, all sorts of colors.
Yes, before even starting to cut them, I usually paint them using acrylics with a very thick layer of paint. And then I mix it with wood glue to make it more stronger. So these are like my palettes.
Mika's using these palettes to create his latest artworks, a series of mosaics called Trying to Blossom, in which he's putting himself at the center of his works.
I've started with the first testers, which are going to give me a rough ground for the whole series. And then I make the pieces, the mosaics, very big artworks.
Do you have any reasons for choosing that particular theme?
Yeah, I have a lot of reasons for choosing that because I've grown in the slums here in Mukuru, Koroben. I'm trying to blossom in the midst of all these hardships, growing in the slum, police brutality, the government like misusing funds which are supposed to help people in a particular state or in a particular area. All those things I want to address them, but now in a very creative way, in a way that it's consumable by everyone. I am like getting more into Mika the person. I'm telling more about his story, trying to find peace in this space that I've made. I want to go deep into life of an artist and the challenges that we face, trying to see that artist, everything that affects him as a Kenyan, as an African.
You scribbled some notes here, trying to blossom distribution plan 1. Oh, so are these your secrets?
Yeah. That's the title of all the pieces that I've done in the Trying to Blossom.
So there's self-education and research, overlooking my younger self. I can believe. You'll watch this flourish. I love that. So that's the wall that's just facing us right here on blackboard, and you're sketching in chalk.
Yeah, and what I'm doing currently is like just small pieces, like just a test of waters on how far this series can go.
As I can see, you've pinned 11 testers on the wall. There's number 1, which is quite close to the door, 2, 3. So like the third one here, I can see a sketch where there are 4 people sitting on the floor, and there are 2 stools. One of them is toppled over, and there's also a candle lit in the room. What is this tester here?
It's titled Support System. That's me, she's sitting down. Then it's like my family. You can see like a parent on the top, then my brother, then my sister. It's like a bit sketchy yet now, but it will be defined more as I keep on working on it. So it's like now I'm here, lying down, and then the family is like, yeah, that's the support system. So then the candle, like showing like the light is not enough.
So the candle features in a lot of the tester pieces that you have on the wall here.
Yeah. Because these are like showing like the very low moments of an artist, like moving to a new space where you don't know how it is. That moment is a very low moment, the light is low, most of the things are not clear.
And definitely a big part of your studio is the eggshell collection. So right in front of us, we have a bucket full of eggshells.
Yeah. We have a bucket full of eggshells. So this I collect from hotels in Nairobi. Every week I would go for them. The eggshells is like the major part of my studio.
So, the eggshells, when you get them, are they sometimes full of leftover egg yolk and egg white? Are they wet? How do you preserve them? Because the ones you have here look pretty clean and not smelly. I was expecting to smell some rotten eggs in here.
Yeah, first thing first, when I get them, I dry them in the sun because like when they are dry, they don't have any smell. So then after painting them, I can break them. And they get very hard when I paint them with a very thick layer.
They get stronger after painting with acrylic.
Yeah, so then I flatten them with my hands.
And now they're not brittle anymore. It actually needs quite more force to break the shells.
Yeah, like it's now even harder. So then I have to get a scalpel.
Okay, so you found the scalpel?
Yes. And then slice them piece by piece into very simple shapes, which are easily controllable. And also while cutting them, I have to really know where I'm going to place them, because if it's a very large area, I'm going to cut them into very bigger shapes. So with this ones, I'm just cutting them into very simpler particles because I know I'm going to use them in a very small space. So I am like taking the color brown, which has a bit of like red, which has a lot of, it's like next to orange.
You work with a notebook, and what you're working on now, according to your notebook, is number 7, which is entitled You'll Watch Me Flourishing.
It's a fully eggshell mosaic artwork. So I've made this kind of green atmosphere, like the sky. You can see a very green sky, and then with like trees and leaves with it, and then there's a crowd of people, which it's changing from this green to like the color of the person. You can see the transition. The main character in the work, who has like a coat which has leaves growing on him, is like so authentically out there, trying to like be honestly himself near people, and then everyone is like surprised and they're like looking, and even someone is like sniffing out the leaves that are growing from him, showing people that they'll watch you grow, they'll watch you flourish, they'll watch you be this person who they never thought you'll be. So that's basically the concept that this artwork is speaking about, and I'm working on it right now. And I'm going to pick some eggshells and get the knife. Yeah, so then I take a brush and some glue. I apply them at a particular place, like that.
What do you use for your canvas?
I use wood, MDF boards, sometimes ply boards.
So this one, we are now on the face of the main character, and you're applying the glue so you can be able to stick the sliced eggshells.
And I have this one, which I have like a handle. I use it, so mostly I use this one.
You have another scalpel with a handle?
And then I'm like now using it to slice my eggshells, and then I arrange them now on the piece.
Okay.
So I use now a bamboo skewer. It's like this thick, just used for mostly food, mshikaki, that kind of thing.
Mshikaki is the Swahili word for skewers.
I didn't know that. Yeah, so...
Okay, so you use the bamboo skewer to pick the sliced eggshells and stick them onto the board of which you have applied some glue.
Yes. Then I pick one like that.
Oh, so you apply a little bit of glue on the tip of the bamboo skewer, and then that glue enables you to pick the eggshell piece using the skewer, and then you stick it manually using your hands.
Yeah, or I can even, sometimes I don't even use my hand. I can just go it like that.
Well, Mika, this is quite laborious, like sticking all these tiny pieces until you make an entire painting.
Yes, it's very therapeutic for me. I have a lot of racing thoughts, and the patience that comes with working with eggshells, I think it slows me down. And then while arranging also, like I get another sense of peace, like I have to finish this particular part so that I move to the next slowly by slowly until I finish the whole artwork. And it can take even 2 months, or maybe even there's an artwork which I did and it took 6 months. So that helps me to like take some things slowly and even consider life.
All right. So I'll let you do the sticking as I watch you without distracting you, because you need to pay attention.
Yes. So I'll stick them one by one, and then I'll change the colors as I move. So currently I'm working on this dark tone of like brown. So and as I move, I'll now move to even lighter tones. I need so much to be in the moment, especially when making it, because like sometimes I even realize that I place a particular very good color in a particular place without even knowing. So like it can get me to that place where I can be so in the moment to a point that I even forget I'm working. I just feel like I'm just having fun, and basically that's art. The brown has a lot of orange, that's why I mix it that way. Specifically for this person, you can see the others are like a bit pale. This one is popping out more because I'm like showing the main person in the artwork. I want him to be so visible in a way that no one can assume him.
Okay, so it's a mixture of colors, the ones that pop out and the ones that are quieter or duller.
Yeah, basically that.
You know, one thing I've also noticed about your eggshell mosaics is that the work has texture, because when the eggshells are put together, it ends up giving a rough texture.
Yes, and actually I love the texture. It's like one of my most amazing things that I see.
So you feel the texture gives your work a bit more superiority or an edge?
Yeah, in a way.
Well, that's your style and you like it. I noticed that your studio is in a place where the traffic noise can get very loud and your neighbors can be loud at times. Does that distract you?
Yeah, so sometimes it's like maybe that noise was meant to be there so that I create something. So I just accept that nature plays its part at times. Because sometimes maybe a particular voice or a particular sound or a particular thing happens and then brings me to a place where I can make something out of it.
So now I'm just standing behind Mika and I'm giving him some quiet time so he can keep working on this. Quite a labor of love. And he's smiling because I said it's a labor of love.
I'm like smiling because it's like, So you can see the studio is so hot in a way that I have to put water in the glue so that at least it doesn't dry down, the glue doesn't dry.
The temperatures are going as high as 28 degrees Celsius, but that's not too hot for Nairobi. That's normal hot. As he works, Mika tells me about his early life and his discovery of using eggshells for art.
I started getting into drugs. The teacher saw us and then he followed me and then he searched my bag. So and then the next day I was going home. And my mom, I wanted to like maybe lie to my mom when I got home. So then when I got home and then I tried to lie, but it didn't make sense. I had to say the truth. And then when I said the truth, she didn't want to see me around. She was like very mad at me. She didn't want to even stay with me. So I had to go to stay with my sister. So I was kicked out of school for it was supposed to be 2 weeks. But I stayed out of school for 3 months. I had stayed with my sister for most of the time. Her husband was very religious. I even got saved. I even became I was like saved. I was like...
You became a born-again Christian.
Yes.
Did that save you from selling the illegal stuff?
Yes, I think it did. Because from that time up to now, I've never done it again. I told the teacher that I can't go back. I want to start over. I want to start afresh. I want to go to a new school to start over in a good way. Now, this new school had art as a lesson. And then this teacher could not allow me in because my notes from the previous school when I started doing drugs were not there anymore. So I was like not having any notes. So he chased me out. But over and over I would go to the art room window and then saw them using eggshells in mosaic for their senior exam, for their final exam. So then I saw this and was very intrigued by it. I loved what they were doing. And I was like, all the time I would like be there. And even then, after seeing that, I would go back home, collect eggshells from the riverside and start doing mosaic over and over. I took the artwork that I did to that teacher and showed her the artwork that I had made with the eggshells. And then to my surprise, she loved it so much.
How much of, doing this artwork and you standing for it has enabled you to stay away from drugs and start a new life for yourself?
100% of art. Because I have a reason why I come here every day. I believe that there's something that's here. Art helps me a lot to understand things. Like being kicked out of school, finding new school, making connections with the teacher, all that thing that happened there. It made me want to pursue this fully. Everything else that's not concerned with art, I'm not doing.
You're listening to the documentary In the Studio from the BBC World Service, and I'm with the Kenyan artist Mika Obanda as he works on his eggshell mosaic series, Trying to Blossom. As well as working on his mosaics, Mika has an exhibition of his charcoal and pastel drawings happening next week, and his mother is on a mission to help him look his best.
That's my mom. Hello, mommy. Okay, ndangalia sasa niko kwa interview.
Sorry, so that's your mom calling?
Yes.
Is it work related?
Yeah, it's work related because she's buying for me shoes for my exhibition. I'm getting very stylish, inspired by some Sauti Sol music.
And Sauti Sol is a popular Kenyan music band.
Yeah, and the outfits that they wear, they've been inspiring me, so I have to do it for my exhibition, which is coming on next week.
Looks like your mom is your wardrobe manager.
She's doing a lot of things. She's a tailor. Actually, I think most of my work is inspired by her also.
Mika has put the issue of femicide at the center of his works for this exhibition. It's a big ongoing problem in Kenya, which has included a nationwide march against the rising cases of femicide and other violence against women. He's decided to present these themes using charcoal drawings.
I've been known mostly for using eggshells in my work, but I've learned how to use charcoal in drawing because this year I have put myself out there to just use as many mediums as possible. And then this one of the pieces which will be showing at Wajuku Artist Collective.
I can see it's a picture of a woman who is crouching on the ground and she looks afraid and there's a crowd of people behind her.
Yeah, that's the whole concept actually. It's called the toxic cult, addressing the toxic masculinity that's around, and also the flag of the country, the Kenyan flag is falling on the ground. So it's showing if we keep abusing the woman, this means that the country is falling. That's not a good thing. It's something that should be dealt with earlier.
I can also see you have a picture of a woman carrying a tray of eggs, or are those fruits? What's going on in this picture and what are you using here? Charcoal?
Yeah, that's charcoal. The piece itself, it's called Her Reality. So it's basically an artwork speaking about my mom. So her reality, how it was when we were growing up in the slum. So this is her. So she's being abused. She shows people this flower, that everything is fine, and she serves the men around her nothing is wrong. So it's addressing issues about femicide, where does this thing come from? That's my mom.
Yeah.
Hello? Halo, hizo hazijanifurahisha. Nilikwambia zinataka vile zinakaa zikava zikae. Nilikutumia picha, angalia kwa WhatsApp yako, nilikutumia ile siku kule mtu nilikutumia. Ama acha tu najitafutia. Hiyo hapana. Okay, sawa.
So that's your mom calling again about the shoes. Give us an update.
So the shoes are not like the ones that I wanted.
So the picture she sent there, that's a blue boot.
That's a blue boot.
Like gumboots you'd wear when you're gardening.
Yeah, I want something like this. Something that has
a heel.
Yeah.
Like a big heel.
Yeah.
This is an important part of the exhibition. Finding the right shoes.
Yeah, finding the right shoes because it will be seen.
Yeah.
Mwisho, ametuma ingine mwisho. Acha niangalie.
I'm peeping through to his phone. Wow, it's a similar one but in white.
Yes, it looks interesting, but still no. I feel no. So let me tell her no. No, we're not having
Mika is very choosy when it comes to his shoes for the exhibition.
Hello, hiyo pia hapana.
Oh, you just told your mom no. Yeah. Will she be heartbroken that you didn't like her choices?
No, she won't, because she's making for me the outfit for the show. So she won't be happy.
Oh, so she's still a big part of your costume design.
Yeah. She's making this old school kind of cloth. She'll have like a very bell-bottom.
Yeah, like a bell-bottom, like fashion from the 70s, from the 1970s.
Yeah, and also like a kimono dress. So she's making that for me. So she's a very big part of the exhibition.
Even though Mika's mom is very supportive now, he tells me her journey to accept him as an artist has not been an easy one.
My mom wanted me to do business studies a lot. And then when I got to this new school, one time my mom came and she didn't want to enter the woodwork class. And then she reminded me that she wanted me to do business studies. Then it was a very heartbreaking moment, and even the teacher did not understand why my mom could not get into the class. My mom is I would say now, my number one fan.
Your mom wanted you to study business and not art. How is art viewed in Kenya?
In Kenya, I think art is in its growing stages. And that's why I feel like it was hard for my mom to understand that I wanted to do art and to believe in the fact that someone can be an artist from the slum. I'm not putting it like as my work to change it, but playing my part.
I leave Mika to prepare his work and find the right shoes, and return 3 months later to see how everything's going. I can see that he's finished the smaller eggshell mosaic templates and is now working on creating the larger versions of the works. He's also been expanding his studio, taking over the unit next door.
Now, like, the studio is big now.
Yeah, I can see it's almost double the size.
Yeah, I'm happy now to fill up the space.
Okay. Yeah. So double the studio space, double the artwork. I can see you have way much bigger mosaics, and this is still part of the Trying to Blossom series, right?
Yeah, it is.
I can see you have a stack of almost 10 or 11 ready pieces. Were these the smaller pieces you worked on last time when we were here?
Is this ones? They were 12, and now they are 11. That's because one of them was auctioned, and that's why we have now 11 pieces.
A big change in the Trying to Blossom series is that Mika's decided that it's not just going to be the eggshell mosaics. He's also adding some big charcoal and pastel paintings to it as well.
I wanted Trying to Blossom series to be diverse, not only made using a particular medium, but to have a variety of mediums.
So mosaics, paintings,
pastel drawings, all those things put together. So what I'm currently researching, doing these artworks which are about spirituality, these drawings which I'm making about spirituality and how art is a ministry. With this, I'm going to showcase them in Kibera, House of Friends Gallery. And I'm very happy that I'll be showing that work there, because I'm going to address things that I think are very close and dear to me as an artist living in Kenya. So
for the bigger mosaics that you're working on now, 120 centimeters by 150 centimeters, I can see you have how many new sketches? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 sketches, and one looks complete, but you haven't done it with the eggshells. This looks like you've done it with chalk and pastel?
Yeah, I've done it with pastel. Colored pastel.
Colored pastel.
Yeah. Soft pastel, yeah.
Okay. There's a woman who, let me say there's a figure, because I'm not sure whether it's male or female. That there's a person lying down as if they're floating in the air, and there's a crowd beneath them.
Yeah, the artwork is called Sacrificial Lamb. The artist is like the sacrificial lamb because they hold nothing behind and they are free with what they express. And by expressing this kind of artwork, speaking about the ministry of it and the sacrificial lamb that I feel artists are, because they express what's inside them and what's affecting them. And while doing that, they put themselves at risk of getting into more trouble. And even in the situation of Kenya right now with the Gen Z and all that, you can see that artistic representation is at risk.
So you like experimenting with different materials. When you use charcoal, does it get your hands really dirty and black? Does it get into your nails? Do you use the charcoal while wearing gloves?
Getting dirty in the studio is one of the things I think that inspires me. I don't know about other people, but for me, I think that in the studio, I think I have to really get messy.
Messy is creative.
Yeah, for me, I think that's why I feel like I'm being creative. Like now I'm really making art.
I leave Mika in his delightful messy studio to continue making his charcoal drawings and eggshell mosaics. You've been listening to the documentary In the Studio from the BBC World Service. The program was recorded and presented by me, Frenny Jowi, and the producer was Andrea Kidd.
Okay, so I'm Mika Obanda. This is my work. It's called Searching Blindly. So it's like speaking about how in life we are all searching for something that we don't know. So it's like just addressing about searching for something. Just you see the face is covered with something and then the person is like walking in a crowd full of flowers and lovely. So it's like just searching blindly in life.
Asante sana Mika. Shukran. Mika. Obanda wewe. Nikasema kitu. Hello. Hello. Akiongea Kizungu, wapi makofi ya Mika? Nasikia nini? Thank you. Asante Mika.
Life and everything's changing. And this one is called Beautiful Anxiety. So trying to capture my feelings. That's what I'm trying to do. What I feel at this moment.